We
The clap ain't gonna
be
work.
live now.
Oh, it will. Because
Yeah, we have like
your
3
end will
mics.
pick up too. Like we have to do a clap either way.
Okay.
Right?
No, mine won't
Okay.
pick up your clap.
We are going
It's
live.
only
Excellent
between
connection.
you and Young,
Yeah.
right?
Excellent connection.
Because
We are
my
live.
mic doesn't connect to the laptop
I
audio.
know how. I know. Okay, Young,
Yes.
you're doing OBS, right?
Yes.
Can you make sure you're gonna record too, right?
Yes.
All right. We'll just trust OBS to use that to sync.
Wait a minute. Right. If I have to record, I can only record my video. I shouldn't record any of you guys, right? Because if I record you guys,
No, don't record us.
Yeah.
All
right.
Whatever.
Well,
just sync.
Everybody say hi to my friends, but they're now going away. Goodbye.
Do the sync now. Okay, are we ready?
Not yet. Not yet. 2 seconds. Ready.
All right.
Nice. Okay.
All right, you clapped?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Welcome back to the Dropout studio. It's virtual this time. 2 different continents. Let's go. We're talking about Spider-Man today. Obviously, the third installment of the latest trilogy, Spider-Man: No Way Home. I know Young is very excited about it. I wasn't that excited. I think over time it's gotten worse. Actually, at first, I'm going to tell you guys my rating straight away.
I agree.
At first,
let's just go through the ratings for each other. Yes.
Yeah. At first, for me, it's a 7.5. Now it's dipped down to a 7, baby.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
I'll say when I first walked out the cinema, it was pretty strong. It was like almost like 8.5. But I agree with Lynn. Like after you sit with the whole experience for a while and you think like, oh, what did I actually watch? And it's kind of like it's a solid 7, I'll say.
7.
Yeah,
you guys are fucking high. You guys are fucking high if you think it's a 7. My rating is 9.5. Easiest 9.5 I've ever put. Oh fuck, my light just turned off.
Okay.
9.
Can I just leave it? Just fucking leave it.
I leave it. 9.5.
Okay.
Easy.
Oh,
we could go through the synopsis very quickly and before we discuss specifically on things.
For anyone that hasn't seen the movie, we're getting into spoiler territory now. Okay, synopsis. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, our friendly neighborhood web slinger is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life as a Peter Parker from the high stakes of being a superhero. When Peter Parker asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. And that is the synopsis from Google.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about likes and dislikes first before we get into any heated argument.
Justin, look at the camera. Don't look at me when you speak. No problem.
What do you like about the movie?
Well, I like the fact that they're able to bring in all the actors from previous stories. You have Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. Obviously, this spoiler territory here.
Yes, huge spoilers.
And then a lot of the villains as well. One thing that's one thing that I really liked, but it's also something I disliked a little bit because I feel like it's massive fan service for the sake of fan service. It doesn't really add a lot to the plot. It doesn't merge into the plot in a very natural way. Maybe I see a lot of disagreements from you, but that's a big thing I like, about at least the movie itself. Then the plot wasn't like marvelous either. I think I quite like the ending where he's become truly a Spider-Man. The previous movies, it's all about Peter Parker, at least this Tom Holland Peter Parker, stepping out of the Tony Stark sort of the shade of shadow, right?
That's right.
But from the suit, we talked about this a little bit deeper detail, but that's what a few things I like about it. It's not very structured, but nice to hear you guys' thoughts.
I agree. Like the favorite thing about this, my favorite thing about this movie is like, oh wow, like it's cool. It's you bring in all these people from the past, and they sort of like
it's probably a legal nightmare, by the way. Just saying, just to contractual issues.
True.
Oh yeah,
True. We can touch on that later for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire is Colombia. Back then, it's still Colombia, and then there's Sony. But yeah, it's a great send-off. I feel like, especially with a lot of people not feeling too hot with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of people feel sour when Sam Raimi's third movie dropped too. I remember that. And I feel like this movie sort of, give that two timeline or that two version of Spider-Man a really good send-off.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we gonna see them again? Probably not. Never. Did anyone really ask for this? Maybe not either. But it's good. Like it's very. It feels sweet. It's like a love letter to Spider-Man fans. But I agree with Lim. Like all these fan service sort of not create a very tightly packed or good movie.
It's not very harmonic. I think it doesn't fit into the story very well. Maybe that's down to execution. Maybe that's down to fundamentally just very hard to bring three franchises together. I think the latter, it's more true. Just given how difficult it is, I think they did an okay or a pretty good job already.
Yeah.
But I still am not a big fan. I'm just saying.
Yo, clearly, of course, I disagree with both of you by a lot. And
why?
Okay, first of all, what do I like about the movie? I liked how obviously they brought all the franchises together. They this great send off and all that. And also I think I really enjoyed the fact the Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man 1, really had an incredible character development through these trilogy and through like the beginning of the high school days to going to a field trip where you're obviously you're also going to outer space, you're fighting Thanos, and then you're going to No Way Far From Home, and then now finally your the stakes gets higher and higher every time, and it gets to a point where people around him get hurt, and finally the one thing that matters a lot to him finally goes, and everything at the end of the movie goes for him. And he's finally become Spider-Man. Not Spider-Kid, not Spider-Boy. He's Spider-Man now. Because he's sacrificed everything to get here. And I know it sounds very romantic and it sounds fantastic.
It's not that bad to not be remembered by anyone. You
no,
can do
but
whatever
like
you want. It's a big sacrifice, buddy.
Yo, like what should he have been doing? Just like that point before he like everyone forget. He could have done crazy shit, right? He could have been like, anyway.
I would have done that, man.
Anyway, but yeah, so I really enjoyed how Tom Holland grew from all this trilogy, and obviously a little bit from Civil War, a little bit from Infinity Saga, and seeing kind of like the tree really bearing fruit, and seeing really how the character becomes this superhero is incredible, and all of those like details and a lot of those fan service. I'm a big fan. I've always been a Marvel fanboy, so seeing fan service, I'm never gonna stop like sucking Marvel's dick because of that. So I'm down for all that. So should we go into what should we go into cons?
Oh wait, hold on. I need to rebuttal a bit.
Go for it.
You gotta get key, man. Here he goes.
Okay, at this point, I have grown to accept the fact that Marvel movie, you can't really see it in the same lens as other movies.
Yes.
Because what Marvel is basically doing is they're doing it like TV shows, even for the movies, right? You have to watch the 20, 40 movies before the whole thing to get that. But I would still say, compared to all the other Marvel releases, I'll say Spider-Man definitely suffered because of this formula. Like for the first, I'm just talking about the home trilogy, right?
What do you mean?
For example, first one is Homecoming. The whole movie is sort of about, like Lim said, he's in the shadow
Yeah.
of Iron Man. You know,
Yeah.
he keep trying to look up to Iron Man. Oh, am I good enough to be a hero? Oh, I joined the Avengers, but now I can only fight petty crime, and I can't deal with this like vulture thing.
Yeah.
And then the second movie is him, feeling not good enough to fill the Iron Man role. You know, he's been handed the Edith.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do with it?" And so everything is so heavily relied on
Other characters within the universe, but not
Yeah, I feel like
specifically
if
Spider-Man
I feel like-
himself.
So
especially
wait,
the
I don't get
second
it.
one.
Wait, I don't get why. Why does it heavily depend? It heavily depends on the knowledge of the audience, right?
They take the spotlight. In a certain way, like Iron Man has such a big role to do with Far From Home.
Right.
Like Tony Stark is not on screen, but you feel like, oh,
So-
the whole movie is still.
So it's the same argument again. It's the same argument we had like a few episodes back about the Disney where you need to have different movies.
It's about the Spider-Man movie. It's not about Spider-Man. I'm not even talking about like whether we need to watch the movie before. It's like everything is related to Iron Man, and this film is not about Spider-Man.
And you could
This
say
film-
this
this film-
film is related to other Spider-Mans.
This
and
film
other
is not about
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I'm saying the first two.
Okay, fine.
Third one.
Yeah.
Third one is a lot of other people take the spotlight from him too. Like for example, this we'll get in later. I would argue we don't need Doctor Strange for this movie to work. Apart from the fact that he's the one that opened the multiverse shit. But
Yeah. Apart from like the most important plot device in the fucking movie, yeah, we don't need him. It's like
no. But then it takes so much screen time. You know, there's the Doctor Strange fight, and then we have him coming back. You know, you shouldn't have taken these people. I should have take them away. And he came back.
what the
just
fuck?
to try and stop
What
everything.
do you mean? What do you mean you don't need him though? Like I don't understand why he's taking so much screen time. It's like taking so much screen time. It's good because he's also part of the character in this Marvel universe and in this movie. He's the guy that Spider-Man's supposed to look for advice and try to get the rationale or like the grown adult view of things. And he comes and kind of like helps this little kid, because the entire part is that Doctor Strange is like, oh, sometimes I forget you're just a little kid, right? So that's his character and his contribution to the movie. And the fact that like the kids are out loose and the kid kind of tied up their dad metaphorically in the mirror dimension, right? That's the whole point of the movie. That's why he's important to this movie.
No, if you needed a mentor character, there was sort of a mentor.
Yes, but he's part of the villain. That's also great. That's also a great.
He brought back.
Yes.
And then there is also, you're arguing for the movie, and I'm saying the role that he's supposed to fill is just a plot device. He's the guy that opened the mirror dimension, and then he's also the guy that can be the mentor.
Okay.
There are already enough character in the whole movie to fit those roles.
Who?
Doc Ock.
Ned.
So Doc Ock can come through the multiverse by himself. How does he come through the multiverse?
No, this is Marvel, and like they can use any excuse.
No, but my
they
point
want.
is, Doctor Strange is an important character in the movie. If Doctor Strange does not exist, Peter would not have had an idea to, hey, let me go find this wizard who can possibly revert this, right? I don't know if he could do it. I don't know how else Marvel's going to change the story. He's a fundamental building block of this movie.
And I'm just
He
saying,
is. He is.
You understand what I mean, right?
I guess just to, expand on what Justin's saying, I think two things, right? First of all, what he said earlier is within a spectrum of, Avengers versus like a solo superhero movie like an Iron Man 1, Spider-Man sort of falls somewhere in between. It's not a Spider-Man specific movie. It almost feels like a little like an Avengers movie because there's so many heroes that were mentioned in the story. You have Tobey Maguire, you have Andrew Garfield, you have Doctor Strange, and all these side characters, they are not important, but also they are to a certain extent important in sort of emphasizing the growth of Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So they are accelerators,
Exactly.
But unlike compared to a movie like Iron Man 1, you didn't need all these characters to show how Tony Stark evolved over time. So that in that sense, from a traditional
obviously I disagree. I mean,
screenmaker point of view, like from Justin's point of view, some a movie like Iron Man is a more well packaged, more well neatly packed movie. That's one thing. I think the second thing you wanted to point out is Doctor Strange being in the movie. A lot of that has to do with the commercial angle, right? You gotta advertise the next film, Doctor Strange's multiverse, whatever it is. Technically, he only serves a check-a-box function. He's a guy who opens up the multi-dimension. Well, what do you call that? Multiverse, yeah.
Sure.
And he doesn't really have to serve other functions. And there is a lot of excess screen time. For example, the fight between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, that is not super necessary.
Okay.
Right.
I understand what you mean.
Exactly. Like it's more about the execution. Like let's say last Spider-Man movie. I'll get this tangent right off, and then we'll move on. Like Spider-Man movie, we remember Happy had a role, and then Nick Fury had a role. But like you said, they just exist to move the plot forward, and they serve that function, and that's it. They didn't linger on way too long, and don't feel like they took up way too much screen.
Why did you think Doctor Strange took up too much screen? First of all, you can't say Doctor Strange took up too much screen time during the fight. That fight scene was one of the most epic shit they've done.
And I agree. It's one of the best choreography or CGI scene. It's like Inception on steroids.
Yes.
But this movie is still supposed to be about fucking Spider-Man.
When did it stop being about Spider-Man? That's my main point, is that just because they are in there, just because Iron Man is in there, doesn't mean it's an Iron Man movie. Just because Loki is in a Thor movie doesn't make it a Loki movie. It doesn't make that. It's just because I think you're saying that Doctor Strange does not play too much of a contribution to Spider-Man as a movie, right? But my point is that
no. I'm saying,
okay.
like Lim said, a lot of these elements exist as accelerators. But when you have so many accelerators in the movie, what you get is kind of, there's screen time dedicated to Doc Ock, there's screen time dedicated to Electro, Sandman, Green Goblin.
Yeah, but not that much.
Lizard, Doctor Strange. And when you take everything away, how much is left? How much Spider-Man is left?
A lot. I still think there's a lot, because all of these characters developed Spider-Man how he plays his role. Because I'll say the screen time for Sinister 5, really, all those villains are a little too much. Actually, I think it's okay. Maybe too much on the
5.
Sinister 6 is anyway. Sinister 6 is the classic comic book villains. So all 5 of the ones in the movie plus Venom.
Oh, okay.
No, and Rhino. Swap out Rhino for Lizard, but same thing.
Okay. Cool.
Anyways, just saying. So, yes, I would agree. I would concede on the villains having too much screen time, a little bit too much. Not like, I wouldn't even say it's a big thing, because I didn't notice it that much. The only problem I have really was Lizard. But Doctor Strange, I'll disagree, because Doctor Strange was a very important character. First of all, I like him. Second of all, he actually acts as more of a adult in most of the situation, or at least Peter is supposed to look up to him as an adult. So the screen time where he's talking about, like, hey, you didn't even call MIT, that's important to show. Look, Peter was still very much like a kid. He's still rash, he's still emotionally driven, and he's not thinking about the consequences. So it's important for him to be in that role, and it's important for him to be the adult. And then within the fight scene, it's important because he's fucking dope. So plot and emotional, like CG and plot, I think both important for Doctor Strange to exist.
Agree to disagree.
I honestly think it's more of a commercial thing. They need to advertise for the next film.
I don't disagree.
Marvel.
I don't disagree.
That's the driving.
But just because he's in the driving force, and Phase 4 needs him to be very important, and first of all, he has not become Sorcerer Supreme yet, very important, and he needs to earn his role in next movie, very important. I don't think that is a bad thing to say. Oh, I'm Marvel. I want to set up Doctor Strange. It's not a bad thing, unless he's
It's not a
shoehorned, right? If he's
but
shoehorned, that's the main thing.
Slim's point here is not whether it's bad or good. He just thinks that's the sole reason why. Right.
why you needed Doctor Strange to open up the multiverse.
Yeah, but
That's
like you can do it with 10 minutes and you can do it with 5 minutes. But anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
We can talk about the very highlight of this movie, which also ties into the Sinister Six thing. Yeah, characters. We have quite a few heroes, quite a few villains in this movie.
Yes.
And what do we think about that?
Well, I can give it a start. We talk about heroes first.
Yeah.
I think one problem I have is they don't give enough screen time. Sorry, not enough screen time, but they don't give enough time for other Spider-Mans to shine. I feel, especially one Spider-Man I really liked actually is Andrew Garfield.
Amen.
A lot of people didn't like the second
Facts.
movie, but I actually think that Amazing Spider-Man, the first installment at least, it's one of my favorites. And so heroes are fine, but I feel like the existence of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire is solely to help Peter grow. So they don't have any like individual moments where they really shine through in the movie, except for the scene where I think Andrew Garfield didn't manage to save Gwen in his own movie, but he managed to save MJ in this new one. There are one or two moments like that. I don't think it's very well executed, and you don't see anything with Tobey Maguire. Maybe there's like a line between him and Doc Ock.
Yeah,
it's good to see you. You've grown. Yeah, and also the timeline's very confusing as well. To be honest, I think it makes absolutely no sense because are we taking characters from other universes at different time of the different time within the timeline? Like they said Green Goblin's supposed to be dead, and they still managed to
according to the movie, all of them were sapped away before the moment right before they died, according to the movie. So all of them. Electro was fried in this movie.
Yeah, so technically you could bring in people from 200 years ago, right? Who just before they die. So basically, it's not just multiverse concept. Then it expands to multiverse and
I mean, space and time is interlinked. So So
also the whole breach of the multiverse is because all these people that got zapped over are people that know Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was the rule that broke the whole thing. But this is also a plot hole that I heard online. Electro didn't know. Electro didn't know. Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
That's true.
Before he died.
Yeah.
But anyway, plot hole aside.
Plot holes aside.
I feel like actually I don't have much to complain about the heroes. I feel like to like unless they make like a 5-hour epic, they have to dedicate more screen time to
Tom Holland.
current Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Of course.
And I feel like from what we've got, I'm satisfied. I feel like it's good, Like assuming that we're not just viewing this as the whole MCU, we're also including the whole other release of Spider-Man. And when you put it like that, right, I feel like okay, I guess sort of like a not happy ending, but like a good send off to Andrew Garfield. Like the second movie didn't do that well, and then the whole movie is just kind of I'm so sad. Should I go with Gwen, or do I have to give up this guy? And then also I killed Gwen's father. I feel very regretful. But then you put this like PTSD Spider-Man, which very welcome. I feel like Andrew Garfield really steps up in this acting, and also. As much as Tom Holland fits as like he really does feel like a Brooklyn kid as a Spider-Man role. When put aside these two guys on the same screen, it really shows how those two can actually act. You know, you know what I mean? Tobey Maguire really acted pretty well. And
This is just like Justin not liking the new generation.
You don't like? So you
the
think that
generation
Tom Holland sucks in this
comes
movie?
out.
No. When I first
I think he did a pretty good job.
When I first saw Homecoming, I was like, shit, this guy really is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, when he did his like, stuff, everyone was like, wow, it's so weird that 30-year-old is playing
Yes.
student. He's too old. And then with Andrew Garfield, I feel like the main complaint is that he like Emma Stone like he got good chemistry because they're actually dating. But is he really good Spider-Man, or is he a good Peter Parker? I feel like.
Yeah. That's what people were saying.
So, but I feel like with this movie, with No Way Home, they really shine, especially Andrew Garfield. I've never seen Andrew Garfield act like this well for a while. And yeah, I feel like in terms of hero stuff, it's good. I love the part where Tobey Maguire gets to talk to Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I like it's kind of weird that the Green Goblin stabbed him thing, but then he didn't. He ended up being okay. That's sort of an emotional sheet. It's like, oh, I feel sad. And oh, he's actually
What armor?
Yeah, I would not be cool if he actually get killed. Like, this guy got very poetic, right? He's sort of like Green Goblin killed.
That's very true. That is very true.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe Sony or Marvel want to keep that door open for another big matchup. Whatever.
Hey, if they can milk that franchise further,
It's
they'll
all
do
right.
it for the money.
It's all right.
Okay. I feel like what's your you love everything, right? You have no complaint about this movie whatsoever.
Obviously, I think there's nothing wrong with the villain, the heroes, and they're fucking fantastic. Obviously, I think the chemistry between those three and the fan service that they fucking managed to pull is fantastic. Obviously,
Stop saying the F word.
Oh, sorry. all
There's
the fan
some
service is
pretty
fantastic.
cringe moments, but I can point that out later.
Okay. The only cringe moments I could think top of my head is the back scene with Tobey Maguire.
I like that.
Yeah,
I was kind of like, what? I think there was some mention of like in previous movies where he like broke his back and he's always complaining about it, and that was like a meme thing.
So the joke was he was originally not going to film Spider-Man 2 or 3 because in real life Tobey Maguire actually has back problems. And then they make a joke with it in Spider-Man 2, I think, when he lost his power. So he tries to jump across a building, but then fell off the building,
right,
and then broke his back. And so he got up and was like, "Oh, my back." So that was a callback to that reference. And then there's another scene where, Toby and
how they do that, Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay. They almost did it.
So
they kind of did it though. Like they kind of did it, kind of did it.
They did it.
Yeah, but it's like to
did
me it wasn't enough. But like it's like it's close.
And then there's like Tobey Maguire, saying. Andrew Garfield first saying, "Oh, the villains I fought were lame. I'm lame," and they're like, "Oh no, you're amazing."
Yeah, that was funny.
Spider-Man, and then there's a scene where, anyway, just a few of these cringe moments that I feel like
I don't think it's that cringe.
Executed for the sake of there are too many of them.
Look, I think it's fine. I think it's. You have to do it if you're making a movie like this. You can't make a movie like this and then not do any of the fan service. You can't just make a movie like this and then do nothing of that sort and then just continue like as if these three guys are meant to be together. They know each other and just hang on.
I like the spider fluid shit. That was very funny.
That one's fantastic. That's why I think it's all well executed. Nothing. I didn't feel like most of it was. I didn't feel like any of it was forced or too forced. I think it felt pretty natural. The chemistry between those three were pretty fantastic. And that's it.
Only bad one. Yeah, I agree with them, which is the back thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that part is a little dragged out a little bit too long.
Agreed.
It's like, oh, everyone is waiting for a fight at the Statue of Liberty, and you two are like just still chatting. It's like sort of like momentum a little bit, but. Oh well.
It is what it is.
That whole part is dedicated to fans, And then there's also a line from Green Goblin saying, "I'm something of a scientist myself."
Oh yeah, I like that one. That was fun. That was epic. That was epic. Incredible. The entire.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
great.
I don't know if you guys saw it, saw it in IMAX or where you guys saw it. I saw it in IMAX, and when the three Spider-Man came out, the entire cinema was like, "Whoa!" Like Andrew came out, was like, "Whoa!"
I had people freaked out when
Yeah.
Andrew came out too. When we saw
And yeah, both of them freak out. I think when Toby came out, they were like yelling the roof off, and when Andrew saved MJ, it was another like crazy moment because I think that was like another like just one of the best parts of that movie. It is absolutely incredible.
Let's move on.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the funny thing is
Anyway, yeah, let's move on.
when
Let's move on to
I-
villains.
Oh,
sorry.
You were saying?
no, villain wise, I quite like the Green Goblin twist.
Mm.
I think
Mhm.
it gave him a little bit more. You sort of show that polarity of his character
Yeah.
a little bit more. And there's a funny saying that William Dafoe, he's been looked like he's 60 years old since he's 20. So he hasn't really aged. So he was born like that. But I think he did a great role. He did a great job in portraying his character.
Yeah.
In a way that you have some new refreshing angles, but doesn't lose the originality. So I think he did a great job. Electro, who's the dude who played Electro again?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx, and yeah, it's all right. He's all right.
I
don't
like
think
him.
he's got
I like
too much screen time.
Nothing wrong with him.
I feel like he got he got too much Jamie Foxx in it. Like he legit
Yeah,
feels
I think there's too much
like
screen
talking the way that he's doing interviews, like going on like Tonight shows. He got too much of that, I'm such a hip hop and like jazzy guy. I talk the way that
I think they really extended the plot where Jamie Foxx is trying to debate internally whether he wants to betray the crew or not.
Yeah.
I think they dragged that a little bit too long.
I agree.
I think a few moments here and there would be fine, but you got him talking to the Sandman, you got him talking to, Doc Ock, like, are you really fine about this? And I think
agree.
that's a little bit too dragged out. I would have loved it if it's subtle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys have heard, like, actually from an interview, like, people ask, like, Alfred Molina, like, the Doc Ock guy, like, oh, what makes you want to return to the franchise, or why did you do it?
William Dafoe.
No,
because it worked for William.
I did it for the money.
Oh yeah.
That's what he said. That's straight up. He said it during the interview.
Nah, he said it as a joke.
For the money.
He said it.
Well, I don't blame the man.
Yeah, Marvel money is Marvel money.
Yeah.
But I feel like one of the things I didn't like so much. Well, two things. First thing is like some of them are not that like coherent with how they were when they first appeared. Like okay, Sandman I get. Like Sandman had a change of heart in the very end, but at the whole movie, even in Spider-Man 3, like he was about his family. He did everything. He robbed the bank. He did everything. Just wanted to be with his daughter. So that makes sense. But I feel like for example, Doc Ock in his movie, in the same Raimi trilogy, he was a lot more formidable. He was a lot more like scary and serious. Like he had a nice part. He still has a little bit funny part to him, but it was only before he changed. But I feel like with this whole movie, like it's sort of toned down. This whole quote unquote serious or scary, even though I know later Peter Parker got his chip removed and shit.
So you're saying he wasn't as scary as he was in the second movie during the bridge scene and during the imprisonment scene. So just before the chip was updated, right? Just before that. Okay.
And I feel like even with like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I feel like I like Willem Dafoe towards the end where he finally like changed into the Green Goblin. But I feel like when he's playing that weak old man, and even though they give a reason to it, because he's lost, he don't know who his son is, so he's kind of fucking in the head. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's been like fucking 20 years since he last played the parts, and it's done by the doctor. I feel a lot of these characters are not they are.
I think I don't. To be honest, I don't think I remember who they were as much as you do. Maybe I didn't watch those two movies before I went in. I just kind of briefly went past it, but I think they nailed at least the impression of people who didn't like fully watch the movie. They nailed the impression of what they had when people who saw this movie the first few times and was like, oh, Doc Ock's scary, and then but he wasn't scary before, but now they really nailed it when he removed Chip or when he
It's not to say that I don't like how they played their character.
Okay.
Like it's more like, oh, it feels really do feel like I'm watching a different character. Of course, like with Sam Raimi,
partially.
Spider-Man trilogy, it was a lot more scary and serious.
Okay. Then again, you have to remember this is a different director.
Cinematography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a different director,
Plays a role
different
because
writers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, for example, in Spider-Man 3, obviously there's a darker tone. You have you can tell from the way the video was edited, from the way that the colors of the movie, the dress, the lighting, and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you are merging three franchises together, so you need to have one coherent theme. You can't have one shot being like Doc Ock being super fearful, and another shot having him not to suit the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So I think they did the best they could. If they are able to fully retain what they were like in their movies, I think you'll have another problem with the movie being it's so incoherent.
Yeah.
You can't really.
I had an argument with Chet earlier about this, and she was like, "Oh, because it's Marvel, you need to tone it down for the kids and the target audience." Then I need to remind you. Remember from Far From Home, they did it super dark as well. Remember, like the whole scene where there's a dead zombie Spider-Man, Iron Man crawling out of his face.
No. It's nothing to do with dark or not. It's just to do with the tone.
Scary.
It's nothing to do with the darkness or anything. It's just to do with the tone consistency. You're in MCU. You're not in you're not in Sony.
MCU can go pretty dark.
I'm not saying it's dark. I'm not saying it's dark or it should be dark or less dark. I'm hoping they go darker. I'm just saying it's inconsistent. You're in you're a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. You're not in a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. If you suddenly have a shift of kind of writing style and the tones, film style.
I'm saying like MCU has gone on record and done a lot of very serious dark stuff.
But should that be applied to this film though?
It's the style, and I just think that they should just import the style. They should import the style from previous Doc Ock movies into this Doc Ock movie or into this Spider-Man movie, not shift the entire character and move the entire character. I think they fit it perfectly, and I don't think. First of all, they have 3 different universes to take into account of. They really should not move the movie towards more Tobey Maguire, more towards Andrew. They should stay centered at Tom Holland's. That's the most important one, and that's why I think they nailed it, because they convey the tone of Doc Ock if he was going to be in MCU, but they basically hired Alfred Molina instead.
Yeah.
I think that's a fine execution.
I think that's a fine execution as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Okay.
I just feel like it could have gone there, but with character out of the way. Okay. Second thing I didn't like about this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know what you two point of view on, or how you think about the original, the Sam Raimi trilogy, especially the third one, which were a lot of people didn't like it, and back then the biggest complaint was, you have way too much storyline to deal with.
Yeah.
You have free willing to build up.
Yeah.
Where I feel like this movie sort of didn't hit that as well. It has the same issue as Spider-Man 3, where
Go on.
For example, who the main quote unquote big bad? Who was the big bad of this movie?
Good question.
Supposed to be Green Goblin,
Yes.
right? Because he killed Aunt May to push the whole plot forward, and then he's also the guy that tried to ask all the other villains to break free.
Yeah.
But then that thing only happened like midway through the movie. Before that, it was him like Spider-Man like arguing with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do this, and then I don't want to kill everyone, and then Doctor Strange had to fight him. Which at that point, Doctor Strange sort of feel like the villain as well, because
Yeah.
he's going against, and that's the issue I feel like with this movie is you have too much villain or quote unquote bad guy trying to give him obstacle. And
I think given there are a few movies where when the screen time of each character is split evenly like that, you look at like an Endgame, you don't see a lot of screen time with, say, Black Panther, but if you have more equal split of screen time like that, fundamentally you then have the issue of struggling to build up a character full story because it's kind of a half-baked. We don't have a Black Panther story in Endgame. He's just
Agreed.
there to execute.
Yeah.
But if you have a more even split of time, then these ideas become half-baked. And I think given what they wanted to do, which is to please the fans by bringing in all these characters, they did the best they could.
Yeah.
That's my view. I was just asking. Sorry.
What's going on? What's going on?
I was asking whether the camera is okay.
It is okay, right? Everything's okay? Okay.
Sorry. Can we go back?
So what Lim was saying, that those characters were not what were you saying? You're saying that they were developed well.
I was saying it's I agree they are half developed.
Yeah.
And that's not down to execution.
Okay.
That's down to just the fundamental challenge. It's having too many characters and wanting to give so many characters their time to shine, really. Because you look at compared to another movie like The Endgame, you have a lot of characters, but not every character has their own plot, or they don't need to shine. They're just there. It's fine.
Agreed. Yeah.
But it's more evenly split here in the case of Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's not a problem with execution. It's a problem with the constraint they have.
No. And I was thinking about this. Is it the same? What is the problem? Why is it Spider-Man 3 didn't work? Or why is it that No Way Home felt kind of off?
You're the one who only thinking that doesn't work, okay? Go on.
Spider-Man 3 didn't work. It was
Spider-Man 3 didn't work. Right.
And I was thinking like, what about No Way Home that sort of not sort of feel off, and maybe that's also why your 8.5 dropped to a 7. And then I made the comparison with this. Sorry. This is Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
that's the best Spider-Man movie.
Why
Nope, not anymore.
Into the Spider-Verse not only introduce us with a new Spider-Man. So first off, we don't know Miles Morales.
Yes, correct.
It had so many villains. You have Tombstone, you have Scorpion, you have the new Doc Ock, you have Kingpin. You have also what's that guy? Prowler.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Whatever.
And then you had, but then you also had like so many different Spider-Mans too. And why did that movie work? And Spider-Man 3 did it.
Good question. What do you think?
I was thinking about it. I think the main thing is you can only have one. Like, it's okay when you have multiple Spider-Mans, but only one villain.
But you can only have one.
Doesn't work.
Who is the one villain?
Kingpin.
Oh, fair.
No, his uncle is also a villain.
Yeah, but his uncle is like the side villain. But like, I feel like the reason why Spider-Man 3 didn't work, and also subsequently to me, the weaker part of No Way Home, is that they didn't set up a very main stage villain.
Fine, but I would say they didn't set up a main stage villain, but they set up a main stage hero, and that is more important than a main stage villain when it comes to a Spider-Man. And that's why I think it's better, and it's fine. Because the main struggle of the movie isn't to fight Green Goblin, isn't to fight Sandman, isn't to fight Doctor Strange. His main struggle in the entire movie is trying to deal with his own consequences, his own actions' consequences. And that is an absolutely fine struggle. And it's an absolutely fantastic way to develop how his actions have consequences. And he's got a lot of power, therefore he's got to deal with all these issues. He can't just, like, it's easy for him to just send all these people to die immediately, but he didn't choose to do that. And that's the consequence of his actions.
The villain matters a lot because your villain makes your hero. Like your hero, your heroic act is reflected on the villain. And when you don't have a solid villain, or you don't know who even the villain is, then it sort of takes away the experience.
Okay, the villain only is a villain through his actions and through his destruction, and then he has overcome his destruction. And in this case, his own his villain is his actions, his consequences, is his own like fight to fix all of them. I know that's a bit of a iffy thing. It's not a solid grounded villain. It's not a big bad. It's not a Thanos. Understand? But I think it worked because the entire time, all the people around him was basically laser focus on this thing. It wasn't laser focus on Green Goblin. It wasn't laser focus on Doc Ock. It was laser focus on how do we fix this? How do we fix? When I say this, I mean all five of them plus his own like identity.
That's the issue when your consequences is split up into so many different aspects. Oh, you need to fix this. You need to fix that.
Yeah.
Sort of lower the whole the whole weight, you know. Like whereas with other superhero films, you know, you have like one main villain, which reflects all your decisions.
Yeah.
Then you know it's very focused. Whereas it's split apart.
I would say it's split apart only in terms of like who's in it, but it doesn't split the part of who's responsible. Like who is going to do the destruction is obviously all five of those villains, but who's responsible? Peter, and that's why Peter has to overcome them with other Peter's help, and that's fantastic.
And okay, and I'll I don't want to linger on this too much. I'll just make an example why I feel like how this could have worked. Like how Into Spider-Verse did it is, you know, even though you have so many villains, and like all the other side villains only serve Kingpin.
Yeah, sure.
So Kingpin's goal, like okay, you have your hero's goal and you have your villain's goal, and your villain's goal doesn't align with your hero's goal. That's how you have conflict. That's how you have good character dynamic. Okay. In the Spider-Verse, Kingpin's goal is to reunite with his family, but that has a lot of consequences. It's going to kill a lot of people. That's why Spider-Man got to stop him. That's it.
Yeah.
And then, but then with this movie, No Way Home, and also Spider-Man 3, everyone wants something different.
Yeah. This one is a little different. I agree. They all have different goals, and that's why when they try to expand them, like expand Electro's goal, Sandman's goal, Doc Ock's goal, all those, it's felt a little disoriented. That's why I felt, yeah, I agree with you that, but I would still agree.
Would have worked like if they let's say Willem Dafoe tricked everyone and then have them work for him, or like or Hulk telling them, oh, if we all kill Spider-Man, then maybe we won't have to go back. Like,
that's fair.
If we have like one center goal, then it's okay. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. That's fair.
A little bit all over the place. Okay, I'm glad that we can come to.
I agree. I actually agree with you, but I just don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's so disoriented that I'm like, oh, I don't know what this movie is about, because I know in this movie it's laser focused on Peter's recovery Peter's wanting to live Peter Parker's life and Spider-Man's life, and that was crystal clear in the movie when during the start, middle, and
it's not delivered. It's just, you know, could have done better. It's the execution.
That's my point. I think it did fine. I think there was good execution.
Okay.
That's all.
Agreed
It
to
is what it
disagree.
is. It is.
That's great. Let's move on.
That's good.
Let's talk a little bit about the whole like aesthetic and also like you know the nerdy stuff. You know, as a film guy, I feel like when I was researching this episode, I was looking up the score because I remember when I first walked out the movie or when I saw the credit roll,
Absolutely.
I saw it's done by Michael Giacchino again, which is the guy that did the whole Home trilogy, the score guy. He also did Rogue One, if I remember correctly, and he also done a bunch of like recent bigger hits.
Yeah.
But then when I look back, I go back and check, who worked on, you know, the Sam Raimi stuff, and also who worked on the Andrew Garfield, Mark Webb Spider-Man. Actually, all the score like throughout the years, throughout the three franchises, they all have crazy ass like composers.
Really?
Sam Raimi one was done by Danny Elfman, which is the guy that did most of the Tim Burton movie and also done a bunch of Sam Raimi stuff. He's also gonna do the Doctor Strange
Really?
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh.
Yeah. And I didn't know that, but apparently Hans Zimmer himself worked on the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, not the first one. Yeah, crazy,
Wow.
right? Yeah, D. Hans Zimmer, Mr. Inception
Mr. Inception.
himself. He worked on, and yeah, you have Spider-Man. Apparently, Spider-Man franchise has always has like great composers. The one with least credit is actually the one that worked on his Spider-Verse, Mr. Daniel Pemberton. But I would argue Into Spider-Verse actually got the best score.
I can't argue too much. I don't. I mean, I would just say that this one is the most memorable one. Even the Spider-Verse one is cool, but I didn't. It wasn't that memorable for me. But that's about it. I'm just basing it on memorability. I'm not basing it on anything else.
I say
It's
like
also
this
the
is
most
just a
recent.
quick sidetrack, right?
Facts don't care about your memories.
That's fine. You can enjoy that better.
Go on.
No, I feel like with most like modern day superhero films or like let's say big budget commercial, right? You always have these like epic score with like a super bomb ass orchestra and then someone constant or like crazy ass composer. But nowadays it's just like epic music, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, like the brass section, a lot of big drum. Like Lim, I think you would agree. Whereas it's just very epic and grand. Every now and then, with like let's say some Marvel flicks, you will have them. With the score, they actually incorporate the old Spider-Man theme, the one Spider-Man.
Yeah, I heard.
Or like let's say,
Spider-Man themes.
or like Captain America, you have that old like very signature theme. But in the Spider-Man, I feel like eventually one day, if we get around to it, we should do an episode with it about this movie.
Let's do it.
Which I love. Maybe when the when the sequel comes out. Anyway,
Sure, for sure.
The reason why I really love it is because it incorporates hip-hop, incorporates like
Yeah.
Spider-Man is a very neighborhood, very good guy, very to the earth, and then he's also a hip-hop fan, and then they managed to incorporate so much of that hip-hop element into
That's
the
fair.
score, and it feels like such you hear that score and you just remember, this is Miles Morales Spider-Man. Whereas it's not just another epic Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it's more iconic. I agree with you. It's
Yeah,
more
that's
iconic than it's like,
right.
it's like another epic. Yeah, fair.
But enough me nerding over the movie, the score. I feel like I'm pretty sure you guys all agree with the music, or you have anything to add on to it. I feel like the great music is great.
Nothing to add, but what stood out to me would be the costume change over the whole movie, right? At the start, he used his Iron Man
Iron
suits,
Spider.
Iron Spider suits, and then later on, he sort of fused his, the one he built himself in Europe, in London, with some sort of
is it called Spider Monkey or something?
I don't
It's a black
actually
suit,
No,
right?
Spider Monkey is the black one. It's the black
okay.
one. The one Nick Fury gave him.
Yeah.
Oh.
He made one himself on the plane, right? So he sort of fused that with some of the technology Tony Stark gave him. So a piece of that nanotechnology. And then finally, you saw the newest costume, which is just the classic red and blue, the blue being very shiny. And I think that's a pretty good use of the costume because, you see the evolution of him. Again, back to the second movie theme, or the second movie theme, stepping out of the shadow of Iron Man. Now he's really, truly his own Spider-Man. I would argue stepping out of the shadow of not just Tony Stark, but also the previous two Spider-Man as well. Because you constantly hear these comparisons. Andrew Garfield's never going to be as good as Tobey Maguire. Tom Holland will never be as good as Andrew Garfield. When you have a new generation of actors and actresses coming up, people always resort to the old school, old cast and think they're superior. So I think that evolution of costume, it's quite nicely done in the end.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, for the final scene, I feel like they could have done something to differentiate the three of them a bit more.
Wait, which final scene? This final scene where he's like
The
he
final
stitches
fight scene at the
Statue of Liberty. Sure. I agree. I actually agree with you. I think they actually look very similar. As a lot of times, I'm just thinking like, which one is which? until they start speaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's that guy. Okay, yeah, I agree with you.
I feel like they could have done something with it to, like, let's say, oh, maybe this guy like got his mask ripped off, or this guy has or like different thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That was like, oh, that was like a bit of a discount. Like,
That's a good point.
I would want to see like, oh, that is our Spider-Man now. But then not it's done.
Yeah.
Even if like one of them, like let's say our Tom Holland Spider-Man keeps his like golden spider like down,
Yeah.
that is already something different. But
yeah,
that part is a bit confusing, not the biggest issue.
Yeah, agreed.
And I like the new like Electro like outfit. I really like Willem Dafoe in the hoodie.
Incredible.
Like the half hoodie, half Green Goblin pants. The Lizard is still a CGI piece of shit.
That one. We don't
But
talk about
Lizard and Sandman, we care about them, right?
We don't talk about those two. I mean, Sandman's not bad. He's just boring.
No. I remember even in Spider-Man 3, his like outfit is still like he gets to stay in human form a bit more. So you get to see the very classic green stripe.
Yeah.
And then his hand just turned into sand. Like, whereas in this movie, like 90%
all
of the
sand.
screen time, he's just like a gust of wind,
Yeah.
which is a waste. Yeah, I feel like I would rather see him a lot more in the green jacket.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lizard and Sandman and maybe Electro serves more of a weapon than a character. Like, they just look like they're like sentient weapons that came from a different universe and try to attack Peter. That's about it. They don't. I mean, that's how I kind of viewed them.
I think it was
Jamie
yeah,
Foxx got
that's how I viewed them too.
He did. He was a lot of Jamie Foxx. He arguably too much Jamie Foxx, but that's fine. I think it's an upbeat kind of Electro in this MCU. You do have to remember this is an MCU movie, and it's a little bit more upbeat. His villain's a little bit more playful. That's fine. I like it. It fits the theme. But anyway, I do actually want to get into this. I want you guys to pick your favorite Spider-Man.
I know.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
I would.
Out of this
Obviously,
three,
out of these
three.
Can I count this guy?
Yeah, okay. Let's just do these three for now.
Favorite Spider-Man franchise or favorite Spider-Man?
Out of these three, I don't want to bring in Miles Morales or even the freaking video games if you want to play them. But I just want to do
I'm
these
asking
three.
favorite Spider-Man franchise or
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Okay.
Including this movie, like all their portrayal, including this movie.
I would say Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire always has, a place in my heart.
Hold on. Favorite. We can do favorite Peter Parker and also favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like for Peter Parker, Tom Holland is definitely the best.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Yeah. He's my favorite Peter Parker.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Honestly, I think for me is that all of their Spider-Man has their own unique taste, but Tom Holland nails Peter Parker, and that's why Tom Holland's the best.
But there's the age advantage.
Absolutely, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a thing, right? It's an age advantage. It's
like a 30-year-old can never play a convincing 16.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Exactly. It is what it is.
So your favorite is Tom Holland.
For sure. By far.
Okay.
It's hard to pick.
It's hard, but like
I would say the same.
Okay, let's ignore the Peter Parker factor and just focus on Spider-Man then. Because I'm sure each of those three have different kind of interpretation of their own Spider-Man. Different movies and different directors have their vision of Spider-Man. In MCU, obviously it's more of a quote-unquote family-friendly Spider-Man, right? It's a little bit more easy to digest. It's his motivation.
It's very harmless Garfield.
Okay.
Garfield.
Fair.
Likewise.
Fair. I'm still sticking with Holland, obviously. But
I feel like Tom Holland has a lot of like
sue me, Lynn.
So he adds a lot of like the kid and funny. He's dumb. He's still inexperienced. He's in the middle of a fight. I remember when we watched is Infinity War, like he will be talking to Tony Stark, and be like, "Oh, this is like Alien, right?" Or like he'd make a lot of like funny quips.
Yeah.
But then I feel like a lot of time maybe because it's Marvel, right? It's sort of tipped like the balance between lightheartedness and like serious Spider-Man tipped a little bit too hard on the funny side. Whereas Andrew Garfield, I feel like he did strike the balance quite well.
That's fine. That's fair enough. Obviously, I think that
was there a lot of like comedic moments with Andrew Garfield? I can't think of.
there are some. There are some.
To
like
me,
the like a lot of the interaction he had with like MJ, or when before he fight Rhino, remember he had, like he's like really funny with the whole.
okay.
Yeah. And also I like how I don't know why, like to be honest, I don't know why a lot of people didn't like the Dean DeHaan Green Goblin. I forgot how he spelled it. You know which one, right? The Amazing Spider-Man Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I actually like him quite a lot. I like the actor quite a lot, and I think Dane DeHaan. Yeah, Dane DeHaan.
Yeah. I think it's just because Willem Dafoe is just a very big shoe to fill, and it's hard to compare. I think he did a good job in terms of his interpretation of the Green Goblin. He's kind of psychotic. He's getting crazy, and I think
No. I think it's different. Like it's straight up a different character to portray. But
that's my point.
People
It's
will
different.
always compare.
Yeah, it's a different one, and I don't think he did a bad job. I think he was a great Green Goblin. What's up? I think he's a great Green Goblin. I enjoyed his portrayal. I just think that Willem Dafoe is better. That's all. It's just that it's not that difficult to choose.
Yeah.
But either way, back to Spider-Man. So you guys choose Andrew, I choose Holland.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, what's the next point? Justin?
Cinematography. I love the cinematography. Oh no, cinematography. Wait, no. Cinematography is okay. I think the choreography is great.
Oh, incredible.
Choreography. Again, the problem I have is they don't have enough distinction between the three Spider-Men. But otherwise, it's okay.
I mean, like the fight scene was like.
Okay. Yes, that's my point. Yeah, like the.
I haven't seen like fights like that in Marvel for. I haven't seen like Shang-Chi. I haven't seen
like hand to hand.
Yeah, Shang-Chi is more hand to hand.
Rather than.
This one is just like Spider-Man and superpowers and like slings.
No. When he fight like Green Goblin, that's you feel like a lot like
that was an emotional fight. It wasn't like Shang-Chi where you're like using martial arts. It was just like a pure burst of rage and anger.
No, you're talking about the last fight. I'm talking about like when.
No, I am talking about the
first jumped him.
Oh. Sorry, I thought
when
the
they're
last.
still in Happy's place when Green Goblin like turned on him.
That is what I'm talking about. Where I'm not talking about the last scene with the statue. I'm talking about the scene where he goes through the floor. One of the best scenes in the movie as well. Like where he like beats the crap out of him, but he's like smiling. Like Green Goblin's like, that was like wow. I was like, damn, Willem Dafoe.
I really like a lot of the fights. I like it's just well thought out.
I don't know if it's a Easter egg or anything, but when I was watching the fight scene, Spider-Man did a spin kick thing where I'm pretty sure Black Widow did during Civil War to Winter Soldier. Like, I don't know if you guys remember where.
Not remember.
Okay,
that at all.
So Winter Soldier kind of broke out of the compound and he kind of fought Black Panther, Tony Stark, everyone like not suited, right? And like Black Widow does a spin kick where he grabs the leg and then he's basically Black Widow's on top of him and he's like hitting his head. And I think and basically Winter Soldier countered by slamming her to the floor to the table and like kind of choking her. And I think Willem Dafoe kind of did the same counter of slamming Spider-Man to the ground and went down to another floor. And I thought that was really cool. It's like a kind of similar moves and like cool callback. I don't know if I don't know if it's deliberate, but like it's cool.
It's got to be.
Anyway.
But yeah, that's a fair point.
Geeking out here.
But I think cinematography, a lot of that we've covered, right? From more choreography.
What I didn't like, I guess, is if we're talking about like cinematography. It has the same issue with. What's the same first one called? Homecoming.
Okay.
which is also a lot of like a problem with a lot of modern day like superhero epic is the end scene. They would film it or take place in dead of night. Everyone is so dark, everyone is in like sort of like dark chrome color, so everything is not very like you can't see it very clearly. It's just dark. And like for example, like for the scene where Spider-Man head out to capture Electro, he's in this like dark spider suit. It's dark, and then you have a very dark Spider-Man, and then everything is super like unclear.
Agreed.
And I like that is a very maybe it's a budgeting issue, maybe it's a stylistic choice, but like for example, right? Where is it? Far From Home. The final scene is in bright daylight in London.
Yes.
Where you can see all the action going on very clearly because it's bright daylight, and that is like. And let's say Venom also had the same issue. Whereas and I didn't like.
Haven't seen Venom yet, but second one.
The first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was
like,
very.
The first one is really bad because and the final scene. Have you seen the Limb? I don't think you've seen. Have you seen?
I have seen the first one, but not the second.
Yeah, the final scene is dead of night. You have like black goo person versus dark gray goo person. And this is a big complaint for a lot of movies. This one also, we already have addressed the issue where you can't even tell the three Spider-Mans apart, and then now it's like dark AF, and then a lot of action going on. It's very quick. It's not very clear, and it's discount, I guess.
That's one bad part, I would say. Yeah, definitely the finding Electro part was a low-ish point for me, but I would say the high points in terms of cinematography is clearly the Doctor Strange fight. It's absolutely incredible. Like the mirror dimension, the just fighting alongside those crazy trains in New York, and the part where he does the web thing where he holds Doctor Strange it was incredible. I don't think we've seen such like crazy choreography or filming.
We have seen that in Doctor Strange.
Yes, but not as like.
I will even argue that fight scene is cooler than the Doctor Strange fights in Doctor Strange. It's great.
It's okay. The only thing that I would say is better is the Thanos fight with Doctor Strange. That one is better. That one is absolutely epic. That one is probably the coolest one.
No. I feel like okay. The difference is. Like the Doctor Strange fight with Thanos is so like magic, you're doing magic shit.
Yeah.
But like you can find another magic user, let's say Scarlet, which she can do the same move, and it'll still make sense in Marvel universe. Whereas this one is so like Doctor Strange only can Doctor Strange is the only character can do all these like mirror,
well,
all these trippy things.
Yeah, agree.
In a story, like shroom things. Yeah.
The only thing I'm talking about, I'm bringing Infinity Wars, and I'm just talking about how epic it looks. I'm not talking about like the cinematography, the coloring, or the shots.
No. I'm saying how he fought Thanos. You think that is cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying the kind of magic shit that he does in that movie, Scarlet Witch or another magic user could have done it.
Oh, but you're saying Spider-Man, only Spider-Man.
Or not Doctor Strange unique. But what he did with Spider-Man, with all the like flipping the trains together and then folding the Grand Canyon, that is Doctor Strange stuff. You won't see another Doctor Strange character doing that shit.
Good point. You're not wrong. Like, I'm actually
okay.
Well, okay. To be fair, he did try to bring Thanos into the mirror dimension, but Thanos had a freaking reality stone, so it didn't help. But that's just me geeking out again. But yeah, anyway.
Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. I feel like we can talk about how this movie fit into the whole MCU, or dare I say like wrap out the whole Spider-Man saga.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely. Have you guys seen all the shows? I'm gonna say all the shows. Loki, WandaVision.
I know how. I've seen What If. I think What If is.
You've seen What If?
And I know Scarlet Witch. The WandaVision has to do with multiverse. I know Loki broke the multiverse.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of references to that already, and it seems like this Spider-Man is really one last push before they actually explore it explicitly in the next Doctor Strange movie, right?
I cannot wait.
Even with What If, I don't know if you guys seen What If. I actually seen What If. Have you seen What If?
I've seen all of them. Yep.
What if this was some of the best things Marvel's ever
Yeah.
produced?
Dude, I don't even know why. It's not even that good. It's only even good till like the last 2 episodes. Straight up.
The Doctor Strange episode's the best. Anyway.
Sorry.
Hold on. What's up?
Oh, is it not charging?
No, don't use that wire.
Hold up. Just in case somebody cut my phone. I thought it was charging. No, don't cut.
Don't cut. It's not. Is it
Nobody's
not charged?
saved.
Use a power bank. Use a power bank.
Yeah,
that wire doesn't work. It's bad. Use a power bank. I should have a power bank in the drawer over there. Do you have a power bank? Just plug in a power bank.
Let's play it safe.
Wait, don't use that. Don't use that wire. Is there another wire?
It's the wire.
It's the wire from the wire screw. Oh, yeah. Use that. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do a cut later. This is easy. Yeah, that's the wire.
No. If I plug this in, the whole thing won't hit. I need an extra wire.
Can you take out the black wire? Thank you. We have a wire inside that works.
Thank you.
This one, I only leave this one out here because it has 3 plugs, so I can use the other plugs. I don't know why the Apple light doesn't work.
But at least it's still rolling.
Is it still rolling, right? Yeah, hold up, sorry.
I don't know.
No, thank you for bringing that up. I should have told you.
Yeah, I just
This one should, I'm using, I can see it, so it's okay. I would love to take some viewers' questions, to be honest. And I see, do you
Wait,
guys know?
it's still live?
It is live. Do you guys see it?
Are
Do
you
you guys
fucking
know
kidding me?
VO? It's fine, doesn't matter, it's just chilling. Do you know what VOA and
True.
VOA means or VOT means? I don't know.
know.
Gallagher.
I don't know.
I think there's 2 people watching us at the moment. I think one of them is my browser.
Your mom and your dad.
What's up, guys? I would love to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think? Which one's your favorite Spider-Man? But leave a comment down below. All right, Justin, you ready?
Hold up, let me.
Pull that up.
Pull it up, Justin. What were we? What were we talking about?
We sidetracked.
Oh yes, how?
Rolling? Alright, hold up. We're rolling. Go back.
Yeah,
hold on. Let me do a quick clap. I go back. Sorry for the tiny technical difficulties just now. We were talking about how this movie fit into the whole MCU.
Yeah.
So yeah, recently we had Loki, WandaVision, What If, all these properties. Well, they're more a Disney Plus show, but they're trying to really hard to sell the fact about multiverse.
Yeah.
We're really
The Phase 4 of Marvel, like after
Absolutely.
Thanos, they've been struggling with finding a proper villain that could fill in Thanos' shoes. Obviously, if you guys have seen Eternity, then you would have
Eternals.
seen, Eternal.
Yeah.
You would have seen, some of the villains that are more mighty than Thanos. And then, because they've explored the time travel aspect already, the only other aspect which they could explore is multiverse, right? Which is sort of pioneered by DC,
Yeah.
to be honest. But since DC hasn't been doing crap about it, they saw the void, took the opportunity.
No. They have been doing it a lot with the TV shows.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not pioneered by DC, I don't think.
Well,
It
not
was by DC.
pioneered, but it's comparing the two, DC sort of historically, I've always had the idea that DC focuses on the multiverse, whereas
Yeah.
MCU focuses on the timeline issue.
Yeah. So
because
you're
Back to the Future.
right. So you're saying it's pioneered by DC instead of Marvel?
I take that back. It's not pioneered, but they are some of the first superhero movie producers that adopted the idea and scaled it in a
That's
massive
fair.
way.
That's fair. I agree.
But Marvel, Marvel, saw that void and tried to tap in as well. And
Absolutely agree.
I've seen theories where, by the way, like one potential multiverse they could go into is the DC universe. Anyway, that's too meta.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
no,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
they had done that before with the comic books, where they cross paths.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway, I definitely agree with you. Just a small geek out. I definitely do not think they pioneered. I know you retract your statement, but I would say, for cinematic universe wise, I'd say DC pioneered it first in Justice League, where the Flash kind of came back to talk to Batman. That is probably the first, at least I recall, the first kind of multiverse teasing idea.
Mm.
So,
I mean, even with CW, like DC
I thought
has
it's Rick
been
and
doing
Morty.
that for a year.
but movie. I'm talking about movie. I'm talking about movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fair enough. That's it. That's it.
Rick and Morty.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm talking about comic book movies, superhero movies, that kind of stuff. That's yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like they. I guess this is their first like actual attempt to be like, oh yeah, multiverse is here.
Yeah.
Even if you don't watch the Disney Plus show, you don't know what's been going on with the Loki and WandaVision. They really trying hard. Even with during the end credit scene when we get multiverse madness is in the name. We see the evil Doctor Strange.
Yes. I'm so excited for that one.
Oh, Lim, did you stay behind for the?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing. I feel, if I remember correctly, and you can actually quote me on that. I feel like the last time they actually did a trailer as an end credit scene was with the first Avengers, because at the end of first Avengers they dropped. Sorry, not first Avengers. It was Captain America, the first Avengers. In that movie, in the end credit scene, it was the trailer or opening scene for Avengers.
Yeah.
And ever since they've just been doing these like little teas, 5 minutes of like excitement or name drop a character or and this has been a while since they actually just drop a trailer, and it's I'm excited. Sam Raimi is on it.
I think the expansion multiverse just made me think that some of the formidable villains you've seen, like Thanos, are not as respected anymore, because
Exactly.
you realize you could go to another dimension where someone who's stronger than him. You've seen Ultron, for example. So I think that is quite
Man, don't get me started with Ultron. They absolutely dwarfed Ultron in that movie. I don't know why they did that. Ultron is incredibly powerful.
I feel like with what Lim just said, like eventually, like this is also the Marvel symptom, right? Eventually, you'll be like, oh, why do I care about this little character struggle when God exists? You have like Captain Marvel can fly in and deal with everything. So
No, I think
we just need to.
I think it's fine. It's just a phase. It's like as in it's literally phases, right? This phase,
yeah.
the
That
first
applies
phase.
to all
That's fine.
movies with so many installments that the threat just gets bigger and bigger, and there comes a point where you got to replace some of the old casts or old heroes or old villains are irrelevant anymore, because
okay with
otherwise how do you justify being able to make how do you sort of engage audience in a way where they feel like, oh, Thanos is stronger than this guy, why do I care? And
I would. You know what? I would be very excited to see a multiverse Thanos that was not the brutal one you see in Endgame, but the kind of like the
what if one?
no the one in
The
the one in
good guy
Infinity
Thanos?
Wars, the quote unquote good guy Thanos, like want to save the universe Thanos, banding up with the Avengers, fighting with the big bad in the multiverse. That would be freaking epic. Like that would be epic.
They can do it with What If again. Like literally, What If allows you to do whatever.
No, but I think bringing Josh Brolin back and bringing like the original, well, not the original, but the Infinity War Thanos, and then bringing him into the fight with Avengers would be absolutely insane, or even the Eternals or whatever, because they'll have to eventually. Fight
I think it'd
crazy.
be really, really fun if they explored like if you do see like the end movie, like the Infinity War or / Endgame equivalent for Phase 4 Marvels, where they have a snippet where like they show the original Avengers. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. Showing the
the exciting
the
part
original
would be
Avengers
like what you said, like with all these movies, right? The stake keeps getting higher and higher, and there's reach a certain point where you can and you have to be creative with how you raise the stake, or even like how to beat the villain. I think like for a long time, a lot of people like the issue with like Marvel or even superhero movie is, oh, you have all these cool characters, cool power, but at the end you boil like the ending fight was just who punched the other guy harder or who has a bigger gun. Where that's why I feel like for like in my opinion, right, the superhero movies that I like are where they use alternative ways
Mm.
to solve the issue. Like for example, like Doctor Strange. For example, Doctor Strange has a very I feel like probably my favorite end fight where he didn't fight him. He outsmarted him by trapping him in the time stone.
I actually dislike that, but that's my opinion.
I feel like I watched the whole movie to see how you develop all these things, but if in the end you still just use, my gun is bigger than your gun, or my being stronger
Look,
than your
I
being.
think that's exactly what happened. My stone is stronger than your entire universe. That's exactly what happened. And I thought it was personally, I thought it was a cheap. Okay, my girlfriend's in the room and she hasn't seen it. I'm gonna stop talking about it, and I would love to watch it with her, so I'm gonna stop talking about it. But let's just say
What do you think?
the ending was not satisfactory in my opinion.
I mean, I don't want to deviate too much into talk about Doctor Strange,
You're right.
but
Or
a
in general,
one-liner I would say, but like I don't quite. I'm okay with the Doctor
Okay.
Strange ending.
Let's
in general,
yeah. Let's go back to
I think in
speculating
terms of
what the future of
speculating.
the future of the MCU is going to be after this movie, because I would love to have a huge conversation about that.
I think if I were the directors, right, I would explore the multiverse first. This is we've been doing that for quite some time already, and then Phase 5 of Marvels would be something related to Eternals.
Yeah, agreed.
So the gods and all that.
Really?
And Phase 6, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should leave that out for Phase 5 because that's
Agreed.
a distinct, isolated threat versus
I feel like
something
Very
else.
much
Phase
agreed.
5 will still be very like multiverse, like dedicated, especially with like Kang
Kang,
the
Kang.
Conqueror. Right now, it's clearly. I feel like because like multiverse is dealing with multiverse, so I'm pretty sure he would make an appearance.
Yeah.
And then you have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
What's that movie called again?
Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Yeah.
So that clearly has a lot of stuff, and the Kang the Conqueror is already like announced as the villain.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna play with him maybe for the next movie too, especially with multiverse being open. That allowed them to, let's say, do a different rendition of the female Captain America, the female Thor, the Jane Foster. Like I feel like multiverse, like since like the moment they reach that gap, it allows them to recycle so many things and also allow them to do so much creativity. I feel like multiverse is just gonna be what they do for the foreseeable future, even.
Yeah.
It could be.
Eternals just feels like Guardian of Galaxy, where in a way that they introduce a new roster and a new concept. But I don't think they would lean too hard on it, especially since Eternal didn't do very well.
I hope they do for Eternals. I don't think the movie did that well, and I don't think that was a very good movie anyway. But I love the setup. So this is my 2 cents. I agree with you that the multiverse should be basically the house staple for every Marvel movie from now on, unless it's a very small one. I don't know how multiverse is going to fit with Black Panther, but we'll find out. That should be Phase 4. Hopefully, the main focus on how to defeat Kang the Conqueror, how to stabilize the multiverse, how are different characters going to interact with each other. That should be the main focus of Phase 4. Obviously, I don't know how Scarlet Witch is going to develop, how maybe she gets corrupted. How is Doctor Strange going to get to Sorcerer Supreme? That's the next movie. But I think Eternals should set up Phase 5. I think the Prime
Celestial
Arishan should bring in at least hint at Galactus or Secret
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah, yeah.
Those are two of the things I want to see in the MCU. Because when he said,
Secret
"Oh,
Wars is already like they already had all those like scrolls set up.
that's Secret Invasion, I think."
Oh, right.
I
What is
think.
Secret War?
So Secret War is a little different. Secret Wars is. So I went ahead and actually watched a YouTube video about Secret Wars. So during Stan Lee's kind of like phase when he left the company or kind of went off to do something else, a new CEO came and stepped in. And when he wanted to do something crazy with Marvel, he created a new comic book series called Secret Wars. And he actually he wasn't like, let that guy kind of take over or let that guy write that. He was like, you know what, I own the company, and actually having different characters in different comic books happening or featuring, like let's say Spider-Man featuring in Avengers or Spider-Man featuring in X-Men, it wasn't very cool because different comic book writers at that time would own their characters and be like, I don't
The
want to share
rights.
my character. Exactly. It's not about the rights. It's more about like, I made this. This is my baby. You can't just go and write about this guy that way. So for the new CEO, he was like, let me write this new series about Secret Wars because every fan has been thinking kind of like, what happens if you bring all of them together? So this series is about how this new kind of crazy god being called the Beyonder, bringing in everybody from kind of the Earth, like Fantastic Four, Avengers, Spider-Man, X-Men, all into this battle planet, and they fight. Basically, it's very simple. Will good beat evil? It's very simple. The big bad is like some crazy, like battle world thing. So I love that concept. I want to see how they develop it and kind of
Yep.
like steps into the concept of how is Ayrsham going to determine whether or not Earth is like deserve saving or not. So I think that's a good way to segue into Secret Wars. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Or Galactus, because that's also celestial kind of crazy stuff. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, agreed.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think just to wrap it up, we cover a lot of things. Wrap it up with one question. I think, did your ratings change after this discussion, or are you still stand by?
No.
No.
Young is always gonna.
Okay. I want to get this off my chest. I agree. Most of the points that Justin's raised about the cinematography and the character development, most of them, I think that they're valid. Obviously, some of the execution.
You're too blind of a fan to admit anything.
You can say, yeah, you're probably right. I don't really care. Going into watch that movie, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had watching any Marvel movie since Endgame, and that's saying a lot.
I agree. When I first walked out, I was like, damn, I haven't had so much fun watching a movie, since maybe Endgame. I remember, but some stuff just I like. How do I put it? If you're like really horny, and then you see this like
you feel that post-nut clarity.
Yeah. Afterwards, you had a post-nut clarity, and then that chick that you banged last night is maybe not that hot. That's what I'm saying. That's
fair enough. It's up to you, man.
That's how No Way Home feel like.
Agree to disagree. I still think she's a super
about Lim?
No, man, I'm still stand by my
7.
Actually, 7 might be a little bit too harsh. Honestly, a lot of that is impacted by my cinema experience. I was watching with a bunch of teenagers who yelled a lot and who didn't get any of the references. Like when Toby appeared, none of them said it. Or I didn't want them to scream either, but there's no reaction.
There was no reaction?
There too. There was a reaction when Andrew Garfield came out, but when Tobey Maguire, obviously, they were too young to remember the first Spider-Man.
Gosh.
It was terrible, but
disappointed.
But yeah, I think my rating would be. But at first said 7, right?
Yeah.
I think I would move it to best case 7.5. Yeah, best case.
That's
7.5,
fine. That's
but,
fine.
It's still 7.5. Anyway, agree to disagree as always. We get. Otherwise, what's there to talk about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Justin?
All right, then.
I'm glad that we get to do this again.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, this will come up pretty soon, and this new format.
It's the first time we
virtual dropout studio will work out.
Yeah,
All
we'll do
right,
more
all
of these,
right.
guys, for
Cool.
sure.
Yeah. Peace out.
Peace out. Take care.
All right, we stay
Take
on
care.
the call.
Bye.